Hey guys, I'm just gonna be quick because I can't wait to watch this, but we're watching Obi-Wan right now, episode 1 and then episode 2. Let's freaking do this. By the way, I'm obviously here with my good friends Richard and Tim. And we're just super freaking pumped. I'm beyond excited.
Oh boy, a recap. I'm hoping they're reminding us of Qui-Gon so we can get some Force Ghost Liam Neeson.
That's why I'm just saying, whenever they do recaps, he's gonna be in it in this this episode. But yeah, that just confirmed it to me. That glorious hair. I literally mimicked that haircut when I was a kid. I was like, I'm gonna be Anakin.
I'm really glad they're recapping the high ground.
Yes.
It's the most critical plot point.
Yeah.
That is basically what made Star Wars. Oh
my gosh.
Wow. Dude, we're getting Order 66. Oh my god.
Yep. Starting off there.
Intense.
Has this just been one shot?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they've done the one shot thing.
Dang. Well, that was impressive. Talk about one way to open it up. Oh god, don't die.
Master Skywalker. There's too many of them.
What are we going to do?
Yeah, dude, I don't even watch sub. I just straight Japanese. I have no idea what they're saying.
Straight Japanese. You're just like, what is happening? Dude, can we just talk about how awkward his head looks like? I remember seeing in the trailers being like, this dude looks so weird. Great shot. I wonder if this is Tatooine.
Guy kind of looked like Brad Pitt.
My man's got some Bluetooth headphones on. He's got Raycons.
Everyone here will download Raid Shadow Legends.
Right.
Or be subject to the Empire.
Oh!
Ooh, Lord. Okay.
It's sort of, I guess I'll drop these things. I don't know how I feel about the guy's performance as the Grand Inquisitor.
Really?
Maybe that's just me.
I don't mind.
Because I thought it was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely a Star Wars like kind of delivery.
Show me your face.
Oh yeah, you already know.
You already know who it is. Ooh, some food for later.
Wait, it just gives everyone their wages right there? Oh no, it is a payout.
Uh-oh.
Something you want to say?
This is not the income you are looking for.
Right. Yep. Tormented. And see, this already feels more like Star Wars than any of the sequels because you see it just quiet.
He's aged pretty well, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But then in 15 years, he's supposed to look like Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
It looks like he's cooking pills and chewed bubble gum.
Nice. That's some good stuff right there. Take your money and leave. Oh, nightmare. Ooh.
He still has nightmares about this, like 20 years later.
I get it though, because like it's like watching your own son, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Turn away from everything that you like, basically like leaving the faith.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like it'd be one thing if Anakin just like stepped away from being a Jedi, like basically pulled in Ahsoka and was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, y'all Jedi have like something all kinds of wrong.
He's about to get ambushed.
That's definitely what it feels like.
Oh, that's the Jedi. Duh.
Oh boy, we've heard this before.
The time of the Jedi is over.
Yeah, Luke and him were kind of in the same boat of the feeling of like being depressed.
We're dealing with royalty.
Is this Leia? Oh, this has to be Leia. Oh, that is not okay. That's not.
She's off playing somewhere.
Yep.
That seems like a total Padme's daughter move because Padme did that a lot.
Little
Is
hellions,
this the real?
kids feeling rebellious.
One of the most funny things that also like should not have been funny was like in the beginning of episode 2, like her security guard and her decoy got blown to smithereens out of nowhere. Yeah. Like stepping off that plane. This is like one of the first things that happened in the movie.
Chirps in agreement.
I'm definitely getting the feeling of this is a first episode for a show. Very slow, which is fine. Not saying
it's not like
bad.
that slow. It's establishing.
Yeah, it's establishing exactly.
Comes, he must be trained, like you trained his father.
Wah, wah.
Burn.
I love how that's like already a meme, bro.
Yeah.
Why does that man have his hand tucked like that?
He's like, I like my hands. Oh, shoot.
I swear, it just looks like Owen cares about nothing in life. He has no joy. Why does she hate Ben so much?
I think this is a good setup. I think she's gonna change by the end. I think she's actually, my theory is she's gonna be good.
I feel like that's not gonna happen because like there can't be any more Jedi.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
I'm glad we get to see that in Star Wars again.
Yeah, I feel like we've never gotten like this deep in Alderaan. We've just seen like visual, like, you know, like, whoa, look how pretty the city is in episode 3.
Oh,
and then we had like,
we'll
one
see how long it lasts.
I'm trying to see if there's gonna be more Disney Plus dialogue or Star Wars dialogue.
Talking to you.
Oh,
Got him.
kid.
You're not even a real Organa.
You're adopted.
Why do I feel like physical assault is coming?
I know, right? She's like 9, 10 years old and just eviscerating children at the soul.
I appreciate finally being able to see her mom. And I like the way that they styled her. It feels like Leia without being a copy of Leia.
Oh my god, there's only like freaking 10 to 12 minutes left. I like these scenes, but I feel like they just go on a little too long for me. I'd rather be with Kenobi personally. That's my only thing. That scene should have just ended right there.
How in the world does she just run immediately to that spot?
I know I was like, does she know the guy? Because she looked like she was running straight.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming she has like usual spots she goes to or something.
Yeah, that's a good point. He was creeping and watching.
Yeah,
So there's no way y'all would tell me y'all could not catch up to that kid in like 3 seconds.
I know.
I
Right?
know. I was like looking at the shot and she was like,
Really? That guy just straight up ran into the tree branch. And that person is a watermelon.
oh my god. Why are they all acting like idiots?
Yeah, the kid's got plot armor. Everyone else does not. So
Does Ben Kenobi get to help in the search and rescue? Maybe that's why he goes off world.
Is that a Nokia N-Gage?
Yep, he's gonna go off world to save her. I was wondering how he was gonna get off world because there are scenes in the trailers where he's not in Tatooine.
She needs you. Obi-Wan.
Dang, that's cool. That's a cool callback.
you know what I mean?
Obi-Wan Kenobi. So who is the person behind this?
Yeah, right. Because these are obviously just like hired goons.
Maybe the Empire. Could be Vader.
That would be interesting.
That was kind of my first assumption.
Really?
Because doesn't he believe? Oh no. He was told in episode 3 that Padme died, but his kids survived.
Yeah,
I think.
he knows his kids are alive.
Ooh, boy. The gallows. There's nothing like if Obi-Wan helped Obi-Wan, if he helped, he would have been dead too. Like, let's be honest.
Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order. He was the main character. Oh. Yeah, oh, okay.
There is no one I trust more with my child than you.
Which is a huge contrast from
Yeah.
Dusty Owen, who's like, you're a failure. Anakin's a failure. The Jedi are all failures.
We don't want your toys.
Because
Right.
I think the reason why is because, you know, he was involved with the Jedi, right? He knew the heartbeat. He knew Yoda. Owen's like no offense, some hillbilly. He's like one of those conservative hillbillies that live in Walla Walla in Washington. They live in Eastern Washington. They're like, I don't like this. I don't like the way they talk. That's how I see Owen.
Yeah, you're right.
He's
He's
that
got
grumpy uncle that no one likes to talk to at Thanksgiving dinner. They'll just talk about politics and how they don't like wearing masks.
Yeah, he's got his plot of land. The Jedi screwed everything up because now the Empire's acting crazy. Like,
Call it a hunch, but I think she's gonna be rescued.
Yeah.
right.
There's still a 70% chance that she's gonna die. These are your first steps. Come on. Oh yeah.
Yep.
I forgot he's got it.
Yep.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, it's the
This was your father's lightsaber.
boo. I want Darth Vader.
2 weeks notice.
Ooh.
He's got that stick on him.
That you knew when he had the hood up.
I hope they don't make her reasoning for wanting Obi-Wan dumb.
Here's what I'm curious about, okay? Because I don't know if you guys saw any of the are familiar of the story of Jedi Fallen Order, the game with Cal Kestis in it.
I haven't played it. I saw a cutscene with Vader in it. It was pretty cool.
Okay. Are you fine if I talk a little bit about it? I don't know if you don't want me to spoil
No,
what happens.
you're good. You're good.
Okay. So, like one of the Inquisitors, she used to be a Padawan. And what happened was her master, which ends up being like, she's like one of the main characters that's helping guide Cal throughout, you know, where he's trying to go to find the holocron so that he can find the other like Jedi children or the Force sensitive children like throughout the galaxy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that lady that's helping him used to be the master of the lady that became like an Inquisitor. What happened was, of course, during Order 66, you know, they came for the master, and I think there was like maybe like 3 or 4 other Padawan or whatever, but the master told them to stay put in a certain area or whatever, and she was gonna go fight or do whatever. Well, all of them get captured, and yeah, all of them get captured, and then they turned the girl into like an Inquisitor. And then the lady who used to be a Jedi Master, she like tapped into the dark side for a little minute, went crazy, broke out, and then cut herself off from the Force out of like disgrace, and like just, you know, was cruising throughout space and whatever else. So what would be interesting is if they like echoed that in this, which is kind of what my mind is going to now, thinking about like, oh, maybe this is personal. Maybe it's something to where she used to be a Padawan or whatever, got captured and tortured, because that's what they would do. They would like capture Jedi and would like torture them and like change them into Inquisitors. That's also why they're so good at hunting Jedi, because a lot of them at one point were Jedi, or what were at least Padawan, in the, you know, on their way to becoming Jedi Knight, and Masters. So yeah, I'm like, okay, maybe it's coming from that angle, and maybe she was one that got left behind, or maybe she's someone that like takes it personal because, you know, maybe she was there, maybe she saw Anakin, you know, kill the kids or whatever, or maybe whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to think of like why it would be that she hates Kenobi so bad.
She looks like she has a lot of anger, and there's a lot of resentment, but she feels like she said that line that really stuck out to me, that I'm owed this. Like, but what exactly is that? What is it? Just Ben, or is it the idea of the Jedi? Like, she just hates the Jedi, and it's almost like, you know, when you're a part of a group, like as if she was a part of like the faith or whatever, the faith being the Jedi, but being betrayed by that same organization, and that resentment, and that I'm never going to be a part of that. Like, I get almost that kind of vibe too, where she felt betrayed, and now she's using the knowledge that she might have received there, and now she's gaining obviously the knowledge of the Sith or whatever, and now turning that into a target towards the Jedi. But also it could just be something where it's just a vendetta against Kenobi, but I'd be fine with either or, where it's like, I hate Jedi, or I just hate Kenobi, and I'm doing all of this to get revenge on what he did. And it could be like one of those moments where, you know, and I think especially with what kind of today with properties, back then they'll like bring it on later, years later, and they'll do like an interesting storyline of, you know, kind of like what they did with Marvel, where the Avengers had their awesome movie, and then they had Age of Ultron, and then Civil War happened, and it was like, yo, I'm glad you saved the world, but look at the damage that you did. Look at all the lives that died. That could be something that they could do here, where it's like, yo, Jedi are cool and all, but like my my dad died because of what you like. I don't know. Like that was kind of like the vibe I got a little bit too. And I'd be interested in something like that conception of, this is what the heroes should always be like, but actually look at the other side of the coin too. Like, don't just see this side, the pretty side, the happy, oh, we're heroes. Sometimes the heroes make mistakes, and those mistakes are costly, and they affect a lot of people. So I'd be interested to see that route that they would take. Now, like I said, could just be, I hate the Jedi in general, or I hate Kenobi, or it could be something even that deeper, like rooted pain that's inside her, and she has all this anger built up. But she's definitely that reckless. I didn't expect that. When I saw the trailers, I saw calculated more, but now I'm just seeing a reckless, not necessarily a brat, but just somebody that's very skilled and determined, but reckless and just willing to do what she wants.
Some good news. Deborah Chow directed all 6 episodes.
That's awesome.
She also has had, it seems like this seems to be like her first, I'm directing the whole show in her IMDb. She had her own movie in 2010. She did an episode of Mr. Robot, Vampire Diaries, Iron Fist, Fear the Walking Dead. She did an episode of Jessica Jones. She did an episode of Better Call Saul, Man in High Castle, American Gods. She did 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. And now she's gotten all 6 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I actually really like the start. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what else she does. A few hands are in the pot in the writing department, and hopefully they stuck close together. But
that's my only worry. It's like there's a lot of hands in the pot.
Right. I think the direction of this was really good. It felt deliberate. Like I could see this script being more goofy in a different director's hands. But it looks like she put some care into it. I think this was a good start.
Yeah, I think it did still have like those Disney Plus dialogue moments where it has to be like kind of quirky, snarky, like little comments here and there, like, and it's fine. Like that's just kind of what dialogue is, honestly, for some like.
I don't know
Disney
how
properties.
I feel yet about them kind of repeating the plot line of I was a Jedi all about the Force, but something bad happened and now I'm a grumpy hermit. Like we did that before. I do feel like it maybe makes a little more sense with Obi-Wan than it does with Luke, but it still just kind of feels like, ooh, that risk didn't really pay off the first time. Are we sure we want to do it again?
I
don't
think
know.
that
I strongly disagree. I think that was one of the strongest things for the sequels for me, because it felt like real authentic character development. Like when other people complained about how like you can't do that to my Luke Skywalker, and I know that's not what you're saying, but like I think the execution of it was good. It was just when they brought him back in episode 9, I thought was kind of jarring. I thought if they just ended it with where they did.
First thing they do in episode 9 with him is undo the first thing he did in episode 8.
And that's why I go back to, it's like a different, that's okay. That's a whole other round. We'll probably talk about that for like an hour.
But yeah,
we do not like episode 9, but yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like almost in a way this is like it's like a palate cleanser, or like a way to redeem that in the eyes of fans, because like everyone knows it was very like it was very mixed. Like a lot of people did not like that approach to Luke. They didn't like that because, again, like I said, like as a little boy, like when I saw Luke donning, the all black, and he was a freaking Jedi master, and he was crazy and like super tight. And it's like, that's the vision of Luke that we all want to see and all want to love. And then when you see him like a hobbled mess, he's like, he's got blue goo coming out of his mouth, dripping all down his beard, like just weird stuff. Yeah, he was like
nipple goo.
Right. He's like weird and quirky, but it's like it made sense to me because like same thing happened to Yoda. Like Yoda was weird. He was like just this odd creature, like that had been living out in nowhere.
But he wasn't like negative and filled with all of this, honestly, like misplaced regret. Obi-Wan feels like he didn't save Anakin
Yes.
What did Luke do that he feels like he failed so badly? Well, they tell you with the whole
Yeah. Well,
Kylo Ren thing, but
he almost like killed he almost killed his student, like just because like he had bad vibes from him, basically, and then realized it was the wrong thing to do halfway through, and then too late, the dude goes bad, like kills everybody, sets the thing on fire. Like it just was a catastrophic failure just because of like one lapse of judgment, as far as we know. Because like it was based on what Kylo Ren said, so like we don't even really know if that's exactly how it happens, because like we never hear Luke really like talk about the whole thing. But like I get it there, but what you're saying is like very much like to my point, as far as like there it didn't land so much, right? It's like either you got it and you felt it, or like you didn't, like you saw where they were going but you didn't really feel it. Here you feel it. Here you actually get to like, I mean, of course they had that whole recap, like, so there was that, but also like you get to see how like terrible life is for him and how tormented he is. We didn't really get to see that with Luke. Like we saw him get the lightsaber and then throw it over his shoulder. We saw him be a weird hermit and be snarky, but like we didn't get to see his pain. We didn't get to see his torment. We didn't get to see any of that. We heard it through some lines. We saw it through some of his good acting in delivering some of those lines, but I don't think we got to see it like how we're seeing it with Obi-Wan, where we're seeing him beat down and dejected and just going through the motions of every day. Even though it's been 10 years, he's still haunted by how everything happened. How could he be so deceived? How could he lose the one thing, literally the one task that his dying master gave him, like he couldn't complete, And then he's also thinking through how the entire council was like, this kid is a bad idea. And he was like, don't worry, I'm going to train him. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. He's going to bring balance to the Force. And they were right. And like, he literally destroyed the entire Jedi Order. And like, now we have a galactic empire that's like seizing entire systems and also the kind of stuff. And like, we see that like, he has nothing. He can't even really like keep scraps of like Jedi memorabilia, like nothing. He has to deny everything that he is, everything that he had, and he sees it as a consequence of what he did.
But
and that's kind of sorry, go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. But I think one of the big differences between what Ben has done and what Luke did is that Ben has nowhere to go, and the only place he has to be doesn't want him. Like the one thing he feels like he has left to do is that. Luke isolated on purpose.
You're right.
Luke shut himself away from everyone because of what he did on purpose, which is why a decent portion of why I feel like it makes more sense for Ben to kind of take it. I still feel like it's a bit of a risk, but to kind of take on this hermity lifestyle than it does for Luke, because chronologically, the last thing we saw Luke do in Mandalorian was rescue Grogu. He was that young, uppity, like powerhouse of a kid that we remember. And I think in some ways, this is going to sound like I'm kicking writers in the balls, but here we go. I think they took the easy route with Luke. I think it's easier to write what they did with him than to actually have him stick the course, so to speak. Because I think it's more challenging to decide what does it look like to always be that character. What does that character become when they're older? I think it's harder to write that than to have it be like, you know what? He's disgruntled now.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting point. I never thought of that. Like, what would the story, what would the sequels look like if Luke was still Luke?
Yeah.
And and Luke was right beside Leia the entire time, what would that have looked like?
Yeah.
What would Luke have
Now,
become? You know,
I would have been fine if it was like him being like, this is, if he decided to go to like some planet, even if it was far away, just to be like, I just want to live somewhere quiet, but I still am who I am, instead of just being like, this was bad, I'm isolating. I'm not going to say that what he did was like, you know, good, obviously. I don't know. The way I kind of see Luke Skywalker, it's a little bit similar to, his character structure is kind of similar to this might sound like I'm comparing apples and oranges, but it honestly reminds me of Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This character who, despite all the odds and what he probably should do to win a fight, constantly strives to win by compassionate means. I think Luke is more merciless. I don't think Luke is necessarily afraid to kill when he has to, like Aang or Ong, like Aang is. But he still has this overall general compassion for the people around him that I think was more of a challenge in terms of writing to keep than it was to lose. And that honestly makes me kind of sad, because I would have liked to have seen more from his character if he'd maintained that aspect that George originally wrote into his character.
And I like that you bring that up, because what that made me think of was, like you said, kind of like a central theme, like
the legacy stuff.
Well, it's that, like, sometimes to win is to lose.
Yeah.
And that's what Luke was prepared to do in order to save his friends, and in order to save his father. He was prepared to lose in order to win. And I think that speaks again to that whole thing of soul of it, you know what I mean, that we didn't see in the sequels per se, because there are certain places.
I disagree though, because in episode 8 you do get the soul, where you said you have to win, but in order to win you have to lose. And you see that especially at the ending with episode 8, where he's in that place, you know, of despair. And I think that's why I like that route more, is like, I want to see what brings this man out of the darkness, what brings this man.
But we already have a character to bring out of the darkness, and that's Kylo Ren. We don't need another one.
But that's the theme of the whole point. It's about the past and letting go of the past. That's why I like it. That was all of episode 8, and then came crumbling down in episode 9 and completely forgot the whole message, which I liked.
But it could have been fascinating to have Kylo Ren and Luke be, instead of just kind of having, granted, a relatively cool fight, but a really quick fight. And it's like, there's a whole lot to unpack there between a character who, what it cost him to momentarily but not completely succumb to the darkness, and a character who dove into it head first because someone else went in halfway. There's a lot to unpack there from like a thematic point of view, and so much good writing is like on the table to be made from that. And it just didn't happen. We had a character to pull from the dark, and the only reason that he's in the dark is because Luke put his foot in the pool.
Yeah.
That's a really good character setup, I think, to have those two together because of those reasons. Because, I mean, let's face it, Kylo probably kills, over the course of his life, a lot of people, a lot of innocent people. He becomes one of the most powerful Sith that the First Order has ever had. So much so that he's more or less the same rank as Darth Vader, but not considered as the same stature in terms of like quality, I suppose. But that wouldn't have happened if it weren't for Luke, and Luke didn't even actually hurt him. Luke was probably about to stand down. He just kind of got caught before he actually did it. I don't remember. Did Luke actually strike, or did Kylo Ren try to defend himself and it made Luke?
Kylo Ren was just going crazy. He was just
Okay.
like,
Yeah,
running
yeah,
with
he
anger.
went
And
Like
nuts.
who swung first, I guess was my question. I think it was Kylo.
Kylo.
Well, yeah, cause Luke he drew the thing and then
Yeah.
and he had a moment where he's like, oh, what am I doing?
And
But
that's when
by the
Kylo woke
time
up.
he was gonna, like draw his lightsaber back, Kylo woke up. It was like just went nuts. You know what I mean?
Part of me understands that maybe Luke secluded himself because he viewed himself as responsible for kind of unleashing that on the world. But the movie, I don't remember that being like what the movie said or what the movie did. Am I mistaken? Did he hide away because he was like, I made Kylo Ren?
Well, it was that, yeah, he felt like he failed, not just, him, but he failed everyone.
Yeah, and
destroy the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to that feeling of like, the world, like if, like you just said, if I just didn't do this, none of this would have, like, I would have avoided all of this trouble. If I just,
and I can see how Obi-Wan might feel the same way with Anakin, but it's taken Obi-Wan 10 years to be like, you know what, I should do something. It took
also
Luke
granted, we feel more of that impact because there was 3 movies of their relationship, because to be honest, Obi-Wan didn't even like, that's the thing that's crazy if you think about it. Obi-Wan didn't even want to train Anakin.
Yeah, he really didn't.
If you watch the movies, it was kind of like, hey, Qui-Gon's dead, like, here you go. And he's like, this little piece of okay, fine, let's go. And then episode 2, they argue a lot. They don't like each other. Like, honestly, they don't. And then episode 3, you finally get that, brotherhood aspect.
Right.
But yeah, and what I can agree with, even though I love episode 8 and I do disagree with some points you guys were saying, but what I can say, yes, I do feel more of the impact of what they're trying to do with what they were doing episode 8 with this, because we have those 3 movies. We feel that impact, especially when you get sequences, when we're able to have essentially a 6-hour long film rather than a 2.5-hour movie where they're only able to show you a 30-second flashback sequence. And we get moments of him going to work, being depressed, getting chewed out by Uncle Owen, then having a Jedi being desperate, like, I need you. I need your help. You are literally the only one that can help me. And he literally said, go out in the desert, bury your sword. That's all I can do. That's the only thing I can give you, man. It's just advice and just give up. And him having nightmares, of events that happened in the course of 10 to 15 years. So that I can agree with, where, yeah, already in one episode, in a 51-minute episode, I feel that impact. So that I can definitely agree with you guys.
There's a gal, I don't remember her name, on YouTube. She takes popular songs and she puts them into Google Translate and runs it through like 5 different languages and then back to English and then sings back the rough translation. So she did it with Let It Go, and it came back as a song called Give Up. Give up.
I already like that more.
Give up. There was something about nuclear waste in there too.
Wow.
That's Obi-Wan's theme song right now.
Give up.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's a good start. And I'm glad to see that the direction is still going to be handled by the same person, because the level of quality in this first episode, I think, was pretty admirable. Yeah, it's a good start.
I personally got what I wanted out of it, which is to see a crushed Obi-Wan trying to not be a Jedi, even though he was the Jedi of all Jedi. Because even in episode 1, the banter between him and Qui-Gon, like literally in the first like 5 minutes, like he's like one of the more like holier than thou kind of people. Like, these are the rules. I abide by the rules. Like, this is it. And that's constantly what he was trying to beat in the Anakin. And that was also his tension that he was always having with Qui-Gon, because Qui-Gon would always go off and do his own thing. And that's why he was always at odds with the council. That's why they would never make him. That's why he wouldn't sit on the council. and they wouldn't grant him a seat on the council, even though he's one of the greatest Jedi that they had. And it was because he just constantly wouldn't agree with them, and he would go off and do his own thing. It's because he felt like the point was to do the will of the Force, not what you think the will of the Force is, not what you want the will of the Force to be, but what is the actual will of the Force. And you know, so like I wanted to see him in these situations where you take him from being that person to like now he literally has to lie, cheat, and steal in order to live. He has to literally tell other Jedi, like, listen, bro, I can't help you. I don't care if I'm the greatest Jedi known to man. And I'm not going to say that. All I'm going to say is run away, get rid of all your Jedi stuff. The Jedi are dead. Give it up. It's over.
But there's still that little bit of Obi-Wan in him, because even though he's fearful for his own life, he's fearful like for just in general for the Inquisitors to find him, but it's not just because of that, it's because it's going to affect that little boy's life.
Right.
And I think that's the hero in him that I love still. Like, even though he's still like, he's like cut off from the Force, I'm assuming, you know, like during that time that he was in, because obviously now he's coming back to it by the end of this episode, you get that feeling of Obi-Wan's still in there. Even if he feels like he's not all there, the hero that we all know Kenobi to be has always been in there for these last 10 years. It just took a little push, the words of Joker.
Right.
Just a little push. But I loved it. I think, that body at the end of the body at the end of the episode of the Jedi was the nail in the coffin for him to make that decision.
That was a Disney Plus moment. Let's be real. Any other show or movie, he'd be hung by the neck.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, oh, so they're going there. I was like,
head would
okay,
be sideways.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're just gonna carry him up on this like little, get him on the truss.
I couldn't even tell. I didn't see like.
Yeah, I couldn't tell either. It was just like, oh, he's dead.
They made his brain into mush.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They held his mouth shut and he tried to scream.
They pulled a
they smothered him with a pillow.
Black Bolt.
Right.
They smothered him with the pillow.
Yeah. I was definitely happy to see that. Glad to see that, like, yeah, we're definitely going to see some Inquisitor action for real. Like, we're going to see them, like, being brutal and being feared and hunting people down. I feel like we are going to see other Jedi, but probably getting their tails kicked. I'm very curious. I didn't think about this till just now, like, when we were talking to them. Like, I'm curious to see whether or not we ever see Yoda. Because
good chance.
Yeah, because Obi-Wan tells Luke to go to the Dagobah system to look for Yoda.
So he's
got the question is
somehow.
Yeah, how did he know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's the thing. So I'm wondering whether or not he ends up visiting Yoda. And yeah, that's something I just thought about. But yeah, anyway, long story long, very glad with how this went, and I can't wait to get in the second one.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Now, do we think, before we get into episode 2, real quick, do we think Vader's gonna show up?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to. They dropped 2 episodes. There's no way in this second episode that they did not put Vader in this. Like,
at least a tease of him by the end. That's all. Like, if anything, that's all I would want. Like, just give me at least him suiting up, and then next week is the tease. Like, that's essentially the setup for us to be like, oh my god, yes.
To be honest, I feel like they're gonna do even more than that. Really? I feel like we're going. I mean, I think it could go 2 ways. I think it could go just exactly the way that you talked about, or they go the other route where they just show Vader like being Vader, like being a young Vader, full
for that.
You know what I'm saying? Full force, because then it's like, oh, it's serious. We've already seen the Inquisitors. Well, we've seen one Inquisitor that's nuts. And we know what she's capable of doing. And we know that, like, the other Inquisitors are bad too, but we haven't really seen them do anything for real. But like, to see Vader be Vader, and to just like go crazy, I think that, like, because I feel like right now in these first 2 episodes, obviously they're trying to like establish this world, like what's going on here, like, and like in this timeline, how is everyone feeling, and all of that. But I also think these first 2 episodes are also like fan service, but not in like the bad way, not in like the, you know, episode 7 way per se, or like how people felt about episode 7, where it's like, okay, you're doing this just, you know what I'm saying, for nostalgia or whatever. I feel like they're doing this. I felt like this episode, for people that were invested in the Star Wars franchise up until this point, they made an episode that felt good to them. Like, yes, this made sense. I felt good watching this. Like, it felt good seeing Obi-Wan. It made sense why Obi-Wan was the Obi-Wan that we just saw. And everything in this world right now feels right. And I feel like that's what these first 2 episodes are for. And that's why they dropped them at the same time, is so that the people that are looking forward to this can feel at ease about what this is going to be. And I think,
heard we're getting 2 fights with Vader. Like, what if we actually get a fight sequence?
I'm assuming we will, but I'm not saying too much about the Vader stuff right now, because I don't know anything that you guys do. I just feel like my thoughts are gonna it's a can of worms that I don't think I want to open yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
because once we open it, we're gonna talk about it for like 2 hours.
Okay. So in placing bets, my bet is that we're gonna see Vader being like a young Vader, slicing people up, being super scary, domineering, having other Inquisitors maybe even potentially looking scared of him, and that kind of thing.
I think one of the things I'm less certain about, that I'm not quite sure what to put a bet on, is if these Inquisitors are working for him. I don't know. Do they? Are these Inquisitors working for Vader?
Oh, well, yeah, because I think
100%. I believe.
Yeah, traditionally, I think that like it's almost in a way, I guess they're like his program. So it's like all these people like, work up under him. Like he runs it. He's like the project manager, basically.
But is it his project yet? When did Inquisitors begin? Because they're not.
That's a good question.
They're not a part of.
I'm not sure on that.
Is this a new thing? And if it is a new thing, did the Inquisitors begin under the Empire, or did they begin as their own faction?
That's a good question. I don't know that. Yeah, because I know if Fallen Order, the video game, because that's the first time I was ever exposed to the Inquisitors. I feel like by this time they're definitely under the Empire, but yeah, that's a good question. If they came up with it themselves, and then the Empire was like, we like that. You want to be contract? I don't know. Just
right.
Like,
you know, maybe it was some sort of Sith concept already, you know, and maybe because the Sith weren't the dominant force in the galaxy for 1,000 years, it wasn't something that, you know, was even around for 1,000 years. But now that the Sith are in control of the galaxy, maybe it's something that's back. That's a really good question. I'm not sure on that.
My assumption is that they did start under the Empire, because Order 66 started under the Empire, and that was the initial Jedi extermination.
Right.
So if this is kind of like finding the last of the vermin, as they say, then it would make sense that this might actually be people working under Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready when you guys are, unless you have more to say. I don't.
I'm so ready.
Yeah, I'm ready too.
Start the show.
Let's see.
Are you wearing a Rise of Skywalker shirt?
Yeah. I was really hyped, and then I watched the movie.
And then you kept the shirt.
And then I was like, I'll keep it. It's nice and comfy, you know.
My man looked very out of place.
I don't know if he looks out of place.
I just mean as far as like he seems like someone from out of town.
Dramatic music playing.
What are we in, Blade Runner?
Yes.
It's-
Dude, that's a
it
good call.
Really seems inspired, yeah.
You know what kind of vibes it's giving off to? Attack of the Clones when they're in the club.
Yeah.
Giving a little bit of the prequel vibes right there. I
Yeah.
love
Scene
that.
from
That
Star Wars
sticks.
where they're in the club.
That's my birthday song, by the way. Oh,
Wow.
there was
You know
theories
he
about
knows
that.
who he is. Wow.
I'm sorry.
That's so tough.
cool.
That's so
Dude.
tough.
I'm
Dude,
sorry,
that's
who is
cool.
that?
He's just like he's just one of the clones. There was people who had theories because that's the same actor who played Rex and all the other,
I was gonna say, is it the Rex guy?
Yeah, and Boba. That's the guy who plays Boba in the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh.
Tamara something.
Yeah,
Forget his
Tamara
name.
Morrison, I think, something.
Who just walks up to you and says, "Hey, want some cocaine, meth, or?"
Yo, you'd be surprised, man. I've had some weirdos walk up to me. Hey, yo, you want some drugs? I'm like, yo, what? Like, tell me you're a cop without saying you're a cop. Like,
I know, right?
The Jedi are all gone.
I'll take you to him for the right price.
Well,
Oh,
I
let
just
me
got
guess,
these
it's gonna be-
drugs.
it's
You
gonna
want
be a
these-
fake Jedi.
You want these drugs, kid?
I knew this actor was gonna be in it.
I'm not leaving your mind.
I couldn't tell I was supposed to be laughing.
There's no way a Jedi is just telling people, hey, tell other people that me, a Jedi, is here helping people. Like, there's no way. Yeah, see, he's scamming.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have to.
Every credit.
Oh, you didn't have to.
He's just using the Force for money.
That would be funny.
He's like,
A forstitute, if you will.
A girl has been kidnapped. I need your.
It's just his voice. Oh my God. Like, just hearing Obi-Wan is crazy right now.
You'll help me?
Yeah,
Can I trust you?
definitely.
I love how he just accepts.
Dude, my guy looks like he crawled out of a volcano.
This is where they cook some good stuff.
Probably some kind of a drug lab.
Good for you, Obi-Wan. Wearing your mask. Do your part, man.
and do your part.
Do your part, bro.
Why is
Oh
this
my
dude got
God.
no small horns?
We about to see some hand-to-hand combat? I don't think I've ever seen Obi-Wan fight
Yeah.
like this.
This is just very interesting because this does not feel like Star Wars. I'm not saying I have a problem with it.
It's
But-
very different.
Yeah, it's very different.
It's Rogue One vibes.
Yeah,
That's like
very
the-
much Rogue One vibes. Like the shots that they're using, the angles, like
I like the camera work so far.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very dirty, very
Yeah.
rugged.
And that's what's crazy about seeing this Obi-Wan too, is like he's weak, he's feeble, he's slow, he's out of place, he's in over his head.
Everybody bleeds.
Ooh,
Got him. If I see someone like her walking into my establishment, I'm just letting her walk. Like, I'm not stopping there.
Right
If
this
I have a
way.
job, minimum wage guarding a door, she's walking in. Like, there's no shot.
oh, there she is.
Let go!
Your father sent me. I'm here to help you.
Where's the army?
Definitely gonna say I did not see this plot coming with the idea of him saving Leia. I
Yeah,
love it.
that's a good point because I never even thought about that. How in the world did she know about Obi-Wan? I never thought about that connection. But like,
How does Leia know? Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Help me on Obi-Wan Kenobi.
yeah. But this makes sense because it's like there's no way that Obi-Wan would be telling the world he's a Jedi and he can help them do anything.
That's a good thought, man. I didn't even think about that. Oh,
Where is he?
where is he?
Where is he?
Swear to
Thinking the
me.
same thing.
Right?
Swear to me. You Batman or something? What's going on?
I do have a bias because things with kids in it typically annoy me.
Yeah, same
So-
here. I have some thoughts after this episode, unless things get better with the kid storyline.
She thinks she will gain favor by capturing Kenobi.
Well,
I
that
love his
speaks
voice.
to what you were saying, Joseph.
Yeah, it does. But I feel like there's something personal too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know so bad. Tell me. He honestly looks a lot better. It's weird in this episode.
Yeah. You came to us from the.
Ability gave you station, but
I hate dialogue like this. This dialogue is for us. That's why I hate it.
He looks a lot better in darker lighting. That's what it is, not brighter.
Kenobi in myself. You are no longer required, sister.
She just does not listen to anything anyone says. It's like right after that, she immediately goes on like the bad guy broadcast. She's doing the things that make sense to do to catch him. Like, why aren't the other Inquisitors like doing this very same thing? Like, talk to bounty hunters. Like, do something. Like, you can find him. You have his picture. Like, what are we doing?
This is such a John Wick Chapter 3 vibe that I'm getting.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that's a very good point.
All these bounty hunters trying to get him. Even though I like the idea of him helping Leia, it's just she's a little kid, and I don't really want this whole show to be about him with a little girl and she talking like this the whole time.
Well, she's
like
a kid.
that's not. I know, but I just don't like that. I mean, that's not the show I want personally. There's so much that they could be doing with Kenobi, and if obviously I don't think that's what they're gonna do. This is just me being worried. I hope that this is just the only episode that he's saving her, and I hope it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not really a Jedi.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is the Disney Plus dialogue.
Yeah, this is very nice. Things like this, like if my wife was watching this with me, she
wanna float.
because she knows how much this kind of stuff pisses me off. Like, there's no way either of these two dudes are making it to the end of the season.
I forgot how long the Grand Inquisitor is around in canon.
She's literally just doing her own thing. These last two episodes, she's just doing whatever she
I
wants.
really hope this episode tells us why she has such like a hard on for this guy.
Yeah.
He's after.
It could be one of those things where they reveal it like in the second half, but I hope they don't take that long either.
Like, this just would be a great time to just go to the bathroom. Make myself a sandwich.
This is so important. It's about her stupid little droid. Character development. So, do we really think Darth Vader's gonna show up?
It's looking more and more.
In some way, shape, and form, I think so.
I think by the end. At this point, I think like the last maybe couple minutes, but if anything, it's gonna be like him suiting up, and then that's how it ends.
He'll probably be like the cliffhanger.
So I know you're not the real kidnapper.
Trust me, Leia.
You aren't a Jedi.
Your father is a very old friend.
I don't believe you.
Oh my god, I hate plots like this so
Listen,
much.
man. This is why, like, I'm checked out right now. Like, I could probably skip the
How is
next.
this a 9.8? Like, I looked at IMDb and
I could probably skip the next 7 minutes of this and miss nothing.
I just want to see the Inquisitors do something right now. I just want to see them like get their lightsabers out, just start fighting instead of just staring. The only reason why I get mad with Disney Plus sometimes, it's like, I understand it's only 6 episodes, but I feel like they need more time. And that's my only other issue with the runtime of this. It's like, I really hope it feels complete, right? I don't want it to be like, man, I really wish they actually spent more time here than there. Because right now I'm already feeling that. And I'm like, you guys only have 4 episodes left and you guys want to focus on this?
Yeah.
Darth Vader
Okay,
shows up.
so what I'm confused about personally at this point is, why did he bring a lightsaber if he's never going to use it?
Well,
I
'cause
don't
his
understand.
opponent is on another building.
You said what?
His opponent is on another building right now.
I'm like, he could be deflecting, but at this point, everyone knows
Yeah, it's like
he's a
small
Jedi.
thing.
So just use it if you're going to use it. Holy
The best
cow.
part of this is Reva doing all this cool stuff. Like, I get it. I get why Obi-Wan has to look like a little punk baby right now. But that was my other worry too. Oh god, you dumb little. Oh, that was clearly a CGI backdrop. Yep, that looks terrible.
Oh, also, I wonder if he cut himself off from the Force too. Also, I wonder if he cut himself off from the Force so that Vader can't sense where he's at.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think you're right, man.
She died a long time ago.
I'm sorry.
Me too.
There are some good moments with them, and then 60% of the time or 70% of the time, I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I agree. Like that was a great moment.
Oh god, how much time do we have left? Oh my god, there's literally probably 3 minutes because the credits are like 6 or 7 minutes long.
Dude, that's so crazy. He looks like holding the lightsaber is foreign to him. He looked at it like he didn't even know what to do, bro. That's so crazy.
I'm just going to take you to me. Lord Vader will be pleased.
She has his attention now.
Yep, your thoughts betray you, brother.
Dang, what if she kills him? I was about to say, I'm like, what if she kills him? I literally was like, I have a weird feeling. I was like,
I told you he was not making it through the whole season. I'm telling you.
I had such a strange feeling. I was like, this is such a setup shot for him to die. Dang, you just see the trauma.
Yeah, you're right. You called it.
I know you, Disney Plus. I love you and I hate you sometimes.
You called it. Kenobi, of course, we had like the other Star Wars things, right, that aren't the main storyline. So we have, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, that stuff. But to me, and everyone is gonna have a different opinion on this, but to me, this Kenobi, this feels like their approach to this feels closer to like a mainline story type thing. Obviously, it like they're not doing the same things as far as like with the music, all that other kind of stuff, but like I feel like there's a different kind of reverence with this story. And I think we can I feel like part of why I feel that way is because of how they started the first episode and the tone and the pace of the first episode. It felt like classic Star Wars. To me, it felt like classic Star Wars. It felt like if the footage was grainier and a little bit jankier, like I could see it being right alongside the original trilogy. With the way it was shot, the way that it was delivered, the lines were delivered, all that kind of stuff. I'd say what is interesting to me is that they are making certain like artistic choices as far as with their shots. They did it a couple of times in the first episode. We saw that with the shaky cam and also the hiding, the peering behind bushes type thing. That is a very different like aesthetic to, like the Star Wars, I'd say kind of like thing. And then we saw it even more so in the second episode where they're doing overhead shots, they're doing quick cuts. I mean, obviously there's like a lot of quick cuts, especially in episode. Well, I mean, there were a lot of quick cuts in the super heavy lightsaber fights. But this was almost like Jason Bourne quick cuts is what it reminded me of, like that kind of, and like you said, Joseph, about like John Wick 3 type, you know what I'm saying, like that kind of like snappy fighting, when Obi-Wan is fighting in that like corridor, that hallway or whatever. And then we saw Reva, is that her name? Reva? Yeah. When we saw her just like doing acrobatics for like 7 minutes, that was like that was super different too.
It was just cool, but I was like, did she catch up to him yet?
Right. That's what was insane. And then it's like,
she was that far away.
Right. So especially when she was doing all that, I'm like, Obi-Wan like has a 10-year-old child that won't stop asking questions every 10 feet. So I'm like, how she didn't catch up to them was like amazing to me. But yeah, so I'm like, so we see some interesting stuff there, right? So it's like they seem to be wanting to get like more physical here. You know what I mean? Like more hand to hand, more. There was like a random POV shot there's like one POV shot in here where she's scaling the building and she grabs onto like this pipe. It's like just one random POV shot, and like that was it out of all of them. So it's like in my mind, I'm like, okay, so this is very interesting. It seems like they're trying out some different stuff, with like, I don't know, it feels like in over these 2 episodes, they obviously wanted people to be like reacquainted with like Star Wars, like with that feeling like, hey, listen, we're gonna honor like Star Wars, not do this in like some weird kind of way or whatever. Take it far out there. But also we're trying to acclimate you to some new or different techniques of doing Star Wars. And seeing mainline, like I said, to me, I see this as not necessarily mainline. It's like, it's not that, but it's like close to that. The kind of reverence that they're taking with this feels to me closer to that. It's kind of like a mainline, like it's like 0.5 to that, so it's like, hey, this kind of, we're going to throw in some different stuff here there in between the Star Wars stuff that you're used to, the kinds of shots that you're used to, kind of silence that was, in the old trilogy, and the kind of dialogue and delivery. But we're going to interject some new ways of doing things, like where it isn't all just lightsabers, and where it isn't necessarily even just all shootouts. But we're going to do some hand-to-hand stuff. We're going to see some acrobatic stuff.
We're also going to have some annoying kids complaining about,
yeah, we're also going to have
trust you.
Yeah. So, so those are some interesting things that I was picking up on. And then like, as far as story goes, I'm like, okay, so, we have Obi-Wan. I mean, it's kind of like a classic thing. You have a character that's like in their mundane world, and then they get called out of that world to do something greater. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
And the
like
only
that,
thing about this show that I think is kind of a concern for me is that I know when I'm watching something amazing is when I cannot wait to rewatch it, to re-experience.
yeah.
And I'm not really feeling that for this, personally. Like, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, I'm fine if I don't ever rewatch these episodes. They had good moments. Like, I prefer personally, I think the first episode is definitely better than this one, even with some great jaw-dropping moments like the Grand Inquisitor literally died. Hey guys, currently editing the video, and I realized that the Grand Inquisitor in the canon, he's alive in Rebels. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I've only seen a couple episodes of that, and I had no idea. So, just go in with that mindset when you see the reaction. I have no idea that the Grand Inquisitor is alive during that timeline, and it's a part of canon. Who knows? Maybe they're going to retcon it. I know that's going to piss off a lot of fans, but I did not know that. That was awesome. Some great, combat sequences. But I don't know why. I just keep on getting this feeling of worry, but hopefully, because we got the tease for Vader, I feel like when that plot kicks in, because obviously the heartbeat, even with the recap that we got in the very first episode, it seems very much like it's connected to their relationship, which I think is going to be the reason why the later episodes will be more rewatchable than the first 2, because it's just a setup. Like, I get that it's a setup, but that's my only concern, is that maybe it won't be as rewatchable as some fans are maybe hoping, that it's like up to that par of quality. And I feel like it'll be like one of those shows where it's like, oh, let's fast forward to that one moment or that other moment, rather than I want to relive this experience. Because for me, I love rewatching The Mandalorian. Like, I think that's an incredible show because of the characters and the story and the pacing. So we still have plenty. We have plenty of room. That's basically what I'm trying to say. We have plenty of room, but that's my only thing with Disney. And I think we're seeing that with Marvel too. Well, My thing with Disney is that they take these properties and they have somewhat good ideas, but then they just get so lost with the other crap that they have to interject in their shows, like random plot points that don't really add up to anything. And like you were saying, I could literally skip 10 minutes or 7 minutes of this and I would know exactly what I needed to know. It's like, cool, I got that one line, great. And I hate when shows do that, and that's a lot of content out there. But this is Star Wars. Like, this is Ewan McGregor. He has come back for 15 years. Please give us something more than just him running around and having annoying moments with a little girl being like, I got poop in my pants. I don't want to see that in a Star Wars thing. Not saying that's going to happen, but there was sequences where it was like, do we really want to plot? I don't like this at all. I was just very annoyed with this episode. I feel like, I'm just annoyed with this episode a little bit when it comes to those sequences.
I think that, like, I don't know if it was like it's not that my expectations were too high. I think it was like, I hoped for something different. I didn't hope for more. I just hoped for something. I'm not
expecting
different.
Like a masterpiece
because it's like I wanted more substance. I didn't want more plot. I wanted more of the world, and I wanted more character. The last episode that we just saw felt like, here's what I'll say. We did get a great exploration into, I won't say Obi-Wan's character per se, as far as his personality or anything like that, but like where he is in life as far as his physicality. That was very nice to see. That, like, it's been 10 years. He hasn't fought anybody in 10 years. He like physically looks like frail and brittle, and like he seemed like when he held the lightsaber, it seemed to him like it was foreign, like it was awkward, like he seemed like it was clumsy in his hand, and he didn't even end up using it. That was something that I noticed that I thought was a really great detail, and that was super beautiful. But like none of that necessarily advanced like or deepened his character for me, because I already kind of understood that in the first episode. So like, and then I'll say also, as far as with Reva, it kind of felt the same. It's like we had great character moments in there, but like for the most part, we already know her character from the first episode. They made it very clear that she's like on a certain pathway. She's going to do what she wants, and she's very good at doing what she wants. And like,
and then exposition dump scenes with her and the Inquisitor, which, I noticed you were mentioning that, Tim, and I wasn't a fan of that either. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
I've always hated that. And it's almost every time a villain has a scene of exposition, it's almost always like we took you in from the street. Nothing before.
Let me talk to you about that experience 10 years ago that has nothing to do with the situation.
Even good movies that do that, I'm still just like, don't do that. To this day, I don't think any movie has had an exposition scene as bad as Far From Home did. The scene where Mysterio's in the bar with everyone, and he's like, and here's what you did in the plan, and you remember your part in the plan. I was like, this is real bad.
That scene for me just matched his character. That's why I enjoyed it. It just matched his eccentric, like crazy, psychotic side. That's what I liked about it.
It was so dumb. It was bad. It was a bad scene.
For me, I think like here again with like tone, that's why in the beginning when I started talking about this stuff, I was like, obviously it's going to be a different pace, it's going to be a different, like all that stuff, because he's on a different planet now, and I get that, but like I felt like, again, like I don't know. I don't know if it's because like I want to see more silent Star Wars films where like we see more than we hear. Like I don't know what my thing is, but it felt like too much talking with like no advancement anywhere. Like
No,
honestly,
that's good. Yeah.
I could have watched most of that with no audio. And you know what I'm saying? It's like because none of it really progressed any of the characters in any meaningful way because like I said, we already understand where Obi-Wan is at. They established that very well in the first episode. And in this episode, like he didn't really change at all. He still basically was the same. He was still jaded. I mean, the main thing is he encountered a guy that was like, you know, here, like I'm actually gonna help you by the end, but like he's still like
It
like
wasn't until the end of the episode he had any meaningful change.
Right, exactly. And it's like, so I mean, there was that, and then it's like I said with Reva, it's like she killed the Inquisitor, which I figured was going to happen. At some point, she was going to kill him. At some point, she's going to either kill or completely dominate all the other Inquisitors. It's just the way it's going to be. And which is fine, but none of that is outside of her character. Like we haven't seen, again, it's like it's been unwavering. Now with her, I don't necessarily think that that's bad because we're very early on in this. I like the fact that they showed her physicality. They showed her just being a beast, you know, and being ruthless, and that kind of thing. I think that was nice instead of, you know, having them just talk about like, oh, you can do all these cool things, which is kind of what happened, like in that first episode. You know, the guy talked about, you know, you made it through the ranks because of your, you know, superior skill. But like in this one, I think like someone made the comment to them like, you know, let's just show her like doing stuff. And so she just
feel like she's overshadowing Obi-Wan in his own show, though.
Yeah,
that's a thought I just had.
That's what I was gonna say too. Was like I feel like she's the more compelling character because it's like I don't know. I partially feel like my brain is jumbled, so I'm not able to like put everything together in like a cohesive way right now. But like to me, I feel like I feel like I'm kind of in a way. Wow, yeah, I'm like realizing this. It's like in a way, I'm already tired of like this Obi-Wan and like what they're doing with him right now, and like way more interested in what Reva is doing and where she's trying to go as a character, because at least with her it seems very deliberate. He seems like oddly transient, like in everything. It's like what, like he's here, he's there, but it's like, what is he actually doing? Like, what's the point? And I know allegedly the point is to get the girl from where she is back to Bail.
Grogu right now. I just realized that.
But it's like, yeah, but no, really, like, what's the point? Like, why? Like, what is he doing this for? Like, you know, who is this Obi-Wan? Who are they trying to make this Obi-Wan? Because at the end of the day, he stays in the desert anyway. Like, so where is he going? And like, I don't quite know. They make it seem like they're hinting at, you know, at some point he's gonna, you know, reconnect with the Force. You know, he did for a moment to save the girl, and you know, that betrayed him in a way, because then that Inquisitor was able to tell like, yeah, okay, so now I see what's going on in your mind. You didn't know that homeboy was still alive. Yep, well, he still is. And so it's like they're hinting at, okay, he's gonna reconnect with the Force. He's gonna, you know what I'm saying, maybe use his lightsaber again or whatever. But it's like I'm wondering where they're gonna take him. Now, in me saying that, I feel like maybe they're gonna take him deeper into despair. Maybe he's gonna start turning to, doing some dark side stuff a little bit. And then coming back out of that, you know. But yeah, but right now it's like he's not. Right now he's a lapdog. Like he didn't want to go save her, but then he got, kind of guilt tripped into saving her because he's the only hope. And then, everyone's hunting him, but he can't really fight them.
Yeah.
And he's dealing with this little girl that's stupid, talks too much, doesn't understand how much danger she's in, and is constantly about to get him killed. He's running away from the Inquisitors. He has a lightsaber, but doesn't use it. Still disconnected from the Force. Doesn't really know where he's going or how he's going to get there. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, what is going on here? You know what I mean?
And
like,
that was my concern with her character, was that from what I saw with the press, it seemed like she was a very prominent character, which is fine. But my concern was, and it seems like with these 2 episodes, it's going in that direction. And I hope they even out the pacing when it comes to her development and literally the main character's development. It's called Obi-Wan Kenobi, not Reva. Like, to be honest, like, that's not her show. So that's my one thing, is that with Disney Plus, with Book of Boba Fett, it really should have been called The Mandalorian Part 2.5.
yeah.
And I think they don't really know. Like I said, we've only seen 2 episodes, but
Right.
Disney Plus, sometimes they don't know how to, not just Disney Plus, but Disney, they don't know how to handle these characters. And it feels like somebody just has this random idea and they're like, yeah, let's go with that. And I'm hoping that's not the case with this, because it's like, dude, like Ewan McGregor must have read the script and was probably compelled by it. That's my hope, is that he didn't just read it, was like, yeah, I'll do it. Anything to just get back in the shoes, get back in the saddle to play this character. I just hope they convey this compelling arc in a way that they're already doing for her. Like, I'm already trying to figure out what's going on, right? But with him, it's a little bit tiring. It's like, so we're going down this route where he's depressed and he doesn't know how to fight. Please don't make this last any longer. And my concern is that he's going to be like this till episode 4-ish, like at the end of episode 4. And then we get Obi-Wan for the last 2, which is, I guess, fine with however 5 and 6 go. But now thinking about it, that seems like the route that some shows go in. It's kind of like when you get a movie like Venom and you're like, yes, I want to see Venom. And Venom doesn't show up till like a little bit past the halfway mark. And you're like, oh, so I got to get all that boring stuff out of the way. And there's one way of doing it. Like, there's good character development, and then there's ways of not doing it in a good way, where it's just plain terrible pacing. And I'm not saying that's what this is, but it's just more like, can we get to the point? Like, can we get to the progression that we want to see this character in? We don't need to see him being more like, oh no, I can't grab the lightsaber because trauma. I don't want to see that for another 2 episodes. I can maybe understand the 3rd, right? Like, because obviously at the ending of this, he's very like, he's alive. So that means to me, that signifies Darth Vader's coming. We're probably going to see him at the halfway point of this episode. And maybe they'll meet up before, and then that'll be the tease of them fighting in episode 4. That's kind of my hope, is that the first time he does grab the lightsaber, it's to fight Vader. You know, like, there's all this buildup, right? Of him like, I don't know how to use this. Imagine him, like, literally after all these years. Like, dude, that's actually crazy. Think about that. The last time he used his lightsaber was when he fought his brother in arms. And the next time is to fight his brother in arms again. And then for the next time after that is to fight Anakin again. Episode 4. Like, I think he's going to use it more than once, though. That's just a a theory, but I think the first time, I'm going to say that right now, I feel like the first time he ignites it is when he fights him. And I think he's not necessarily going to beat him. He's going to just make it out alive. He's going to escape. Because I heard they're supposed to fight twice. There's like two locations where they fight or something, which I love that. Please give me more. But yeah, going back to it, I just really hope they don't just drag us along in this journey with him where he's like, oh no, trauma for another episodes. I really hope it's just this next one where he's dealing now with the idea of, dude, Anakin's alive. What? How am I gonna, what is even gonna happen? Like, am I gonna recognize him? All the thoughts that are going through his mind, and also probably the terror, like the vengeance that he must be feeling from him, where it's like, dude, this guy wants to kill me. I left him on the side. Right there. So I'm excited still. Like, and I don't want to, make it seem like to you guys where I'm like, I'm not interested in the show. I am so interested. I'm still very intrigued. I'm just a little concerned.
Yeah, I think the show's off to a good start. I liked episode 1 more than 2. I do think once Reva killed the Inquisitor, I thought to myself, okay, the show better make damn well sure that they tell us as soon as possible why she's after Ben so much, because it seems like a really bad idea to kill one of Vader's high-ranking Inquisitors.
Well, yeah, it's a slap to the face of fans that love that character. That was a bold move for them to make, and I can see fans getting upset.
All she did was break rules, like she went against them the whole time, and then killed the Inquisitor. But even after doing that, she feels like Vader would be pleased with her, and I'm like, would he be though?
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point actually about like what her actual, and I know we talked about it before, like as far as like what her actual like motivation is, but like I'm thinking about that in a new context now, as far as like, maybe she's using the Inquisitors, maybe she's using Darth Vader, maybe she's like trying to climb the ranks for her own reason.
But why would she kill the Inquisitor if this wasn't personal? Vader is above her in the ranks. She's not going to get past him, and it would and probably should piss him off that she just broke every order and then killed his guy.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see his reaction. I don't think she's not getting a happy ending.
She would kill someone who's below Vader but above her and expect to be rewarded for it. She needs a pretty damn good reason for having done that. Because if all it is to climb the ladder, that really shouldn't be how you do it.
Yeah, and she's just doing it because she could do it, and he was just in her way. I think that's such a retarded, like that's so dumb. I don't like that.
I feel like that's why I was saying, like, it seems to me like she does not care for the Inquisitors at all, and like she's using her position for her own ends, right? Like being an Inquisitor is a means to an end, and that's what it feels like. She's using all her resources as an Inquisitor, like for her own personal reasons. It's all
and it
definitely
seems like everyone else has a box, right? And she's the only one stepping outside of it.
Yeah, and does not care. She does not care about repercussions. She does not care about rank. She doesn't care about order. She doesn't care about any of that.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the reasons I'm wondering if Vader is going to kill her.
Yeah.
Honestly, by episode 6, I think he's gonna kill her. I think she's gonna stick for the long haul. I think she will be alive for all of this until episode 6. Yeah. Something's gonna happen where Vader's gonna be like, no.
And I mean, I can kind of pardon it taking a while for Ben to change so far, not just because we're only 2 episodes in, but because the most significant change to his character didn't take place until the last scene of the second episode. Because I mean, the basis of who he has become is at the very least largely based in what he deems to be his greatest failure. But now he's discovering that, like, maybe in his mind there's still a chance. So it might kind of possibly rekindle the Ben of old. But I don't know, I think it's a good start. But like I said, I did like the first one more than the second one. I think the actress playing Reva's doing a fantastic job, and I think the actress playing Leia is doing a fantastic job. I just think the writers need to get their foot out of the tropes a bit.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think in general, like, it's all acted well, it's shot well. I feel like we're seeing an infusion, like, as far as like with the kinds of shooting that they're doing from other like styles of film, which I think is like very interesting. And I hope people like accept it, because like I think it's cool. I think it's cool to see, like, Jason Bourne, John Wick-esque fighting in corridors and dark hallways, shaky cam kind of stuff, like in Star Wars, where it's all been like, more regal, fighting with lightsabers, using the Force kind of stuff. I do like that. I like the set pieces. I think it's nice. It's nice to, like we were saying about the first episode, it's nice to see Alderaan. It's nice to see, nice things. Especially when like that whole galaxy is dark and reeks of the Empire and its control on the galaxy. That's super nice. I think that, like, yeah, it really is acted well. There are some very beautiful moments, some very moving moments, a lot of subtle moments. I loved the retired trooper that was sitting on the side, and just that look of recognition between Obi-Wan and the trooper, where it was like, we both know who I am, right? Like, we both know, because I was the general. Like, I literally led everyone, along with a couple other Jedi generals, alongside Anakin, alongside Mace, alongside, you know what I'm saying? You all know who I am. And you see me as the shell of myself, and I see you as a shell of yourself. You used to be a mighty warrior. I used to be a mighty warrior. We were both fighting for the Republic. And now here we are, wet in the rain, crawling like rats through the streets. And we have to act like we don't know who we are. And we can't acknowledge any of the greatness of our past days. I hope they don't do any more of that, like, hokey pokey crap with the kid. Very annoying. I do not like it. I hate it in every movie, every show. I get scared every time they interject the kid into something, because I'm like, here we go. So hopefully they do better with that, because I do think she does a good job. There are some real moments where she shines, where they give her good lines, good dialogue. But yeah, I am excited. I'm excited to see what they do with Vader. I'm excited to see what they do with like glimpses of Anakin. Because I feel like we're going to see times where, or at least a time where, there is a glimpse of Anakin where he's not all gone. He's not all gone. He's there. Even though he's gone around wiping out, thousands of Jedi, killing, thousands upon thousands of innocent people in his quest to destroy the Jedi, which is really a quest to destroy himself.
My first guess is that he's gonna kill Reva in front of Ben. Is that Vader's gonna kill Reva in front of Obi-Wan?
Yeah,
that's my first guess. And he's gonna do it so callously that that's when Obi-Wan realizes that Anakin is like Gonzo, not like, because he's been thinking gone as in not necessarily
Dead.
just failed, but as in dead.
Yeah.
But I think if that's the route they end up taking, it's going to be the moment that kind of starts to push him more towards the Alec Guinness, at least in the live action. I know the animated series kind of covers some of that ground too.
I guess to close the video here, overall for me, I feel basically everything that you guys feel. I think it's a solid start. Couple things that are a little iffy for me, but not downright terrible. Not like I truly hate this part of the show. Like I'm not a fan of the kid stuff. I like there is a way to approach with kids and shows that are actually fun, entertaining, engaging, and compelling. Like Stranger Things season 1 and 2 and 3, where they have just good writing and I like the kids. In this one, I think they were trying to go more for this is a little kid that thinks they know everything, and it's a little bit of a smart aleck mouth, and I guess that's the route they wanted to go in, which for me, and obviously seems like for you guys, not hugely fans of that. So I don't think it'll last long though. I feel like by this next episode, I feel like that arc will end. Because I really hope they don't pull a Mandalorian and Mandalorian did a great job doing this, where, you take this great character and they have to protect this being. And for this case, it's Leia, which I love the idea, right? Because I remember saying that, be like, I didn't expect this. And then I saw the execution of it, and I'm like, I do not like how they're displaying this. I feel like there's a better approach to it. So that negative out of the way with that, and also actually some kind of cringy comedy lines. Like I think they did that thing that Disney likes to do, throw in some humor, and majority of it I don't think landed for me personally. Like, what's that guy's name? The comedian in episode 2, I forget.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
He's a hilarious guy, but I felt like they didn't know how to write him in his type of comedy. It felt like they were like, hey, do this type. And it just didn't work. It fell flat for me. Like, yeah, there was a couple times where like I was smiling or like, but didn't really get a reaction out of me. I was like, cool. There was a line that was said.
I think it would have been pretty funny if he actually was a Jedi. And this
oh my God. No, yeah.
And this is just how he gets by now.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought that for a moment. I'm like, oh,
that'd be
he's
hilarious.
lying. It's a solid time, but it's not something I'd rewatch. Like, I think the only time I'll rewatch it is to get Alicia caught up, my wife, and just be like, hey, you should watch this because it's good. But personally, on my own time, I would never rewatch these 2 episodes. Maybe like some parkour sequences in episode 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm already trying to think of scenes that were memorable for me in these 2 episodes. Like, I liked the nightmare sequence with Obi-Wan in episode 1. I thought that was great. I like the ending in episode 2.
I think the establishing stuff in the first one was really shot.
Like, yeah,
beautiful.
It looked
really
good.
Solid work. Yeah, really solid work. So there's a lot to like. Couple things to love about this, especially ideas of where it could go. But some things I'm not entirely on board with. And obviously, like I said, it's only 2 episodes. I don't have the full scope, but I am more curious to see what happens with Reva's character.
Yeah, me too.
Going forward. And I don't want to say I'm more interested in hers than Obi-Wan's. It's just I want them to be able to flesh out the title character's story more than hers. No offense. Like, I like it, but don't forget, guys, that this is Obi-Wan's show. We've done this before. Learn from Book of Boba Fett. So, guys, that was our reaction / review of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the new Disney Plus Star Wars show. And we had a good time. I'm excited for next week. But the most important thing that you guys need to do right now, call to action. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. With that being said, have a great night, whatever time zone you're in. Blessed day. Do what you got to do. If you're at work, you should be doing work right now. What are you doing? But other than that, we love you. Don't forget to be blessed.